Hey, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We're a bit late, aren't we, guys? I took a nap. Oh my God. You know when you take a nap and it just sort of wipes you out? Yeah, it was kind of like that. And then my brother was like WhatsApping me and like sent me all these pictures because he was in LA for Christmas. So he sent me a whole load of pictures of his time over there. And yeah, that's my excuse. But I know, like, for, some of you Americans, it probably suits to come on a bit later anyway. So that's fine. So, yeah, how are you all? I hope you're all well. Who have we got in? Hey, Edna, you coming up, darling? You coming up, darling? Right. Because I haven't got a clue what we're talking about. We're just chilling, aren't we? Because it's Wednesday and we like that, don't we? It's been a busy week. It's been a very busy week. So we've got random fish. Hi, darling. Such a hugely specific time to start a live. I know. I know, and I hadn't set it up or anything. But hey, Wellness Wednesday, we're allowed, aren't we? And I've been really, really busy. Bridget's driving. Hi, darling. Lovely to see you. And Etna. I don't know if people are live or anything. Doesn't matter. We do our own thing over here. So how the hell are you? How the hell are you all? I hope you're well. Do you know what? The last couple of days, it's been quite well. I don't want to say mild, but it's not been sort of what do they say about a monkey's balls? I've forgotten there's a saying that's got something to do with monkey's balls, and I've forgotten what it is. Anyway, doesn't matter. Brass monkey weather, that's what we say over here. I don't know whether you say that. We've still to do that little sort of American versus USA. No, American versus British language thingy. We should do that one day, shouldn't we? Because I know we've got quite a lot of sayings that are very different to what you Americans say, and that's one of the reasons I like to put up some of the British people I know on my community tab, because some of them use, it's all very British. So yeah, that's why I put it up sometimes to share it with you. What do they say about monkey's balls? Inquiring minds want to know what they say. Like, if it's really, really cold, then they say it's brass monkey weather. Like you can, what is it? You can freeze the balls of a brass monkey. I don't know. Can we Google that? Ah, sorry. Listen, I'm going to be even more all over the place because my head's all over the place. Nothing new there. It's just the way I roll. But I'm sure you're used to that. It's been hectic. I've been getting those videos out and doing live streams, and um, now we've got Edna. Hi, Edna. How are you, darling? Let's see if
Hey
she's got her
Jen,
mic sorted. Hello, darling. You all right?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling chilled like you actually. Not the same way that you get chilled, I have to say. But yeah, I've got my coffee here, nice cup of coffee, and yeah, quite a sort of relaxed. How are you?
I'm doing well. Work is going good.
Good.
My manager signed me up for a project, and I'm working with one of my teammates, like one of my old teammates. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's good. So do you work sort of from home? Do you sort of,
I
or
do
do you
work
go
from
into the
home.
office?
No, no, I'm completely remote, which is really nice.
Uh,
And yeah, it's just interesting because there's like I've gotten further and further away from taxes as, as the season's going on. So it's like now I'm kind of working, like testing out the tax answers that the AI gives out. So it's interesting to see where it's like, okay, it's basically we're like double checking the AI against real answers. And it's, oh, it's just
Oh,
interesting.
that's really interesting. God. So, I mean, I know a little bit about AI and I've used it a little bit as regards sort of more about written work, like I use it when I'm doing my store sometimes to use more descriptive things, if I'm sort of, it's hard, when you've got to come up with different ways of saying the same thing over and over. AI is
Right.
quite handy to do that, and it's quite clever the way it does it as well, although sometimes it can get it wrong, which is a bit annoying because
It's
sometimes it
funny
sort of
because yeah, well, no, I was gonna say, like, it's interesting because for some of the answers, AI was technically right, but it's not the way we would typically do it because of just limitations where it's like, for instance, you have the option to paper file, but that would be the last option just because it's the most inconvenient. But,
yeah.
is the AI wrong when it says that you can do something because technically the paper file? No. So, I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It sounds really interesting. What do we I mean, I use it for that. As I said, I use it for literary things. I don't use it for artwork, although I know some people do. I think if I was to create something um purely from AI, I'd feel that it wasn't really my own composition.
Right.
And I think, yeah, and I couldn't do that, and I think that's one of the things that some artists are worried about because, is it going to make life difficult for artists? And I think to a certain degree, yes, it will do, but then there's nothing like an original painting, an original um, either acrylic painting or oil painting. And I'm not sure whether AI is going to be able to do that. Um,
I
so
think the work that it would take to get to that point, you might as well just paint it. You get more enjoyment, more
I
enjoyment
think,
out of it. I think when it comes to AI, it's like if you know, you know, because you like AI can't replace a person. So that's what's really interesting is that just like you said, there's going to be a quality to the AI output that you're just missing that human touch. And you can tell.
yeah, it's like in my intro, where I say, whether you're here for my artwork or my live streams. That's AI. That's I use that. Um, but I'm not really happy with that voice as such. Um, I think it does lose the tone, and I've used it with some of my poetry. And again, I'm not as I don't know. I just don't think it's exactly how I want it. It's very clever, mind you. But I think with something like poetry, where a lot of it is to do with rhythm, I think sometimes AI doesn't get it right and it pauses in the wrong place, which is really annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but let's see what Fish is saying here. Uh, I'll use Art AI for mock-ups. You can also take it into Photoshop to manipulate so it's more like collage. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Now, I mean, I do collage. I actually put a short up today about collage. Now, collage is it's very different. I mean, the type of collage I do is very different to other, other collages. It's like artwork, isn't it? It's all different depending on the artist. But yeah,
Right.
that's quite interesting. Hi, Barley. I hope you're well,
Hey,
darling.
Valley.
Um,
Listen to poetry. Valley, what do you think about AI? Have you dabbled in it at all?
that's a good question. Random Fish says, yes, just say no to AI for poetry. I don't know. Sometimes I don't mind it. But other times I'm like, oh, Jan, I think I would have preferred it if I'd have said it myself. Um,
Mhm.
but okay, Barley, why don't you like it? Why don't you like it? And what have you tried it for? Because I think there's so many other things. So explain to me, Edna, how you can use it with what you do, like with numbers, because I wasn't even aware of that side of it.
Oh yeah, it's like how just how you use Google, where it take your search results and make it more what's the word, like accessible maybe, or it like easier to comprehend, to digest.
So is it a bit like, doing, you can work out a mathematical problem with it?
Perhaps. I'm really sure like how if the AI works doing complicated math. Because to be honest, taxes really aren't like math heavy. That what's really frustrating about at least with American taxes, there's a lot of double negatives, like the language is difficult. And just following the instructions of a form could be difficult.
Yeah,
So, the AI might, because there's one thing to understand like the intent, what's intended with a certain credit or deduction, and actually following the form, and making sure you're subtracting and using the right income number, and multiplying by the right number and all this kind of stuff to get to the correct credit amount. So it's like two different things. So the AI, like one thing I noticed was a little different than what my project is doing, is that the AI for our training was really nice in the sense that instead of saying, okay, this answer is wrong, this is the right answer, it kind of said, oh hey, and you were on the right track with this answer, but we would like you to elaborate more, like giving it more of a voice where I guess
wow,
when it comes to taxes, it could be a little like black and white, and it kind of gave him more of a human touch in a sense, with it being
wow.
AI, where it felt more personable. And I appreciated that aspect of it.
Yeah, I bet. That's incredible. I wasn't aware of that side at all. Random Fish says you can use AI to write code, so I'm sure you can use it for maths too. Oh, it's funny.
Hmm.
Over here we call it maths. In America, you call it math. Weird. You dropped the S
Right.
somewhere across the Atlantic. Should be maths,
I mean, I
guys.
understand
Right?
there's multiple numbers, but why? I mean, isn't it kind of like implied? Like it's like fish. It's math is the multiple.
No, no. I would have said maths
No.
is the multiple. You put an S on for a plural, don't you?
Yes,
You've
that's
got it
true, but not
wrong.
always.
Listen, we invented the language, okay?
Hmm.
So so it should be math. No, it's funny though. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's what we call it. Let's get up to what Barley said here. Right. I feel it will take away our personalities, and in general, people will use their brains less. I think that's quite a possibility. Everything will be robotic soon. Steve wrote me a love song with AI, but he told me it was from AI. Oh, that's lovely.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
lovely.
I don't think it's gonna take away our personalities, because it's like we're all. I think it's gonna change it in different ways. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's just like I can tell a millennial through and through, like being in this generation. Like we all have such shared experiences, right? I just think it's gonna be like that, where you're gonna be able to tell that it's AI influence. I don't necessarily think it's gonna take away the personality or the personalization completely.
Yeah. Well, nah. Yeah, yeah, I guess. I'm just trying to think. Gonna see if I can find an example to play you. There's some that I've done. Quite like the here, Barley. If you're still here, I'll play you some of my poetry using a AI voice. Okay. Now there's some of them. What's this one? What's this one? Love is so yeah, see, now I don't like this voice. I don't like this voice at all. Barley, you listening? Okay, um, your manipulation of AI will have its own personality too. Yeah. See, I think if you're writing something, the words are going to be there, but the problem is, as I said, you don't get the I know what Barley's saying. You don't get the sort of emotion in the voice the way that I would like, the way I've written something. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So this
Right.
one, let me play this one for you, and I'll tell you why I don't like the voice. Okay. Because it is all encompassing. We allow it to take over our whole lives. Right. Okay. That one I don't mind. Our whole being. We give it so much importance, allowing it to control so many aspects of our lives, blindly seeing it as a positive force. Unfortunately, love can have a negative effect on our lives. It makes us question both our rational and irrational thought processes and behaviour. We believe it has the power to put us in a place we all strive for, a utopia filled with total happiness, peace and contentment. Sadly, it also has the power to heighten and intensify our senses to the point of combustion. We try not to be washed away on the tide of love for fear of drowning in a stream of passionate extremities. Yet we know we have little choice. To truly love is to allow oneself to be emotionally swept away. We only ride the waves of emotional bliss once or twice in our lives. Sometimes love is not enough. There are too many whirlpools in the stream and our hearts sink, leaving our souls to drown. Yeah, actually, I didn't mind her. I did after me saying, "Oh, I don't like that one." Yeah, I don't mind her. Let's
I was
see.
gonna say it's nice.
Jan, you can train AI voices to be your own voice, but the rhythm is often off. Yeah. See, and the thing is, everyone speaks in a different way, don't they? We all speak with different enunciations and different nuances, and I think that's what it is. I think at the moment, AI sort of falls short of those um, fake AI voices is its own aesthetic. Yeah. Let's see if I can find another one. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Now these ones I haven't named, so I don't know what poem it is. Let me see. Got one here that says poem. Let's see what this one is. Hang on. Just listen to the voice. That's what I want. As a lengthening shadow. Okay, that's the same girl. She's not too bad actually. Um, mm, 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 mm. Right, London Eye. Now, I quite like this voice. Okay, hang on. So, Fish says, my own accent is an amalgamation of different American regions too. Yeah. See, I didn't realize
Ooh,
that's interesting. See, I didn't
that's a million
realize
dollar
that.
word.
Sorry?
That's $1 million word.
What?
I
It's a
can't say
million
it,
dollar
Ted.
word. What? What
Yeah,
are you saying?
it's
It always makes me laugh when people online try and work out where I'm from. I think it's fairly obvious. I think it's obvious that I've got an English accent. It's obvious that
Mhm.
I've got, a London accent, but I do have a bit of a twang that throws people sometimes, and they're not really sure where that bit comes from. um, and that's because I was brought up outside of London, but then I've lived
Okay.
in and around London all my life, really.
So
But
what
I
do you
think,
think your I was gonna
well,
say, what do you think your accent says about you?
my accent says I'm a Londoner, I think, but then there
Okay.
is a bit of a twist on it. And do you know what's really funny? My youngest daughter, as she was growing up, people used to ask her what her accent was, and people used to
Mhm.
say, she's definitely got a bit of an accent, and I was like, "Has she?" But I wonder if it's that she's picked up a bit of the way I speak, and also it's probably going to sound really stupid, but her best friend for, I think, the first 4 years at school was Greek, and I think she might have picked up a bit of her accent. I
That
don't
happened.
know.
You know what? I'm telling you, I knew this little girl. She what was it? It was a country movie. I can't remember it now, but and I think she developed a large part of her accent from this one movie because people thought she was so country. And
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know, people think I'm country too. Like when I went to California, they, they thought I sounded so country. And it was I don't anyway, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, it's funny how, especially children, they can be little sponges and they can soak
Mm.
up something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, I mean, I've heard people saying, "Oh, well, when they're sort of trying to find out where I'm from, and they say, 'Oh, well, she's definitely a Southerner,' but we're not really sure, um, uh, which part." But yeah, it's quite interesting. I think accents are really interesting, actually. Um,
Mhm.
I think I've learnt a lot more, or I can recognise a lot more of the differences between some of the American accents, and I think that's because of, watching reaction channels and that, you know? Um, Hang on one sec. Right,
So do
Random
you have
says
a
it's
favorite American accent?
uh, no. No, not
You take them
really.
all equally?
I don't like the real New York one. I think that's a bit. Oh, and also,
Oh, I love a New York accent.
do you? I think it's quite
Yes,
harsh, isn't it? Um,
it can
but
be.
then don't laugh. Oh, no, no, just trying to think if I've heard any American women with a New York accent. I'm not sure if I have.
I
I've
think
heard quite a few men with
Just
it.
Jills. She has like a northeastern accent.
Northeastern, what's that?
Yes, like maybe not specifically New York, but it's like a northeastern part of the country. They like a New Englander. They have a certain way of speaking.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
They're more harsher. Yeah. It's just, I mean, the different areas. I really don't like a Southern accent. It kind of, ugh,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can tell, and, I've learned I can tell. I mean, I I I recognise it a little bit in you sometimes, but you don't have a thick Southern accent, do you? I don't think
No.
so. So, Random Fish says it's funny because my brother-in-law speaks Spanish with a Mexican accent because he learned Spanish and English together. But my nieces pick up the Spanish accent of whoever they talk to. Their accents change. Yeah. Oh, that's really
Oh,
interesting. It's funny because there's somebody that I've started following on Instagram, and they're really funny. It's a mother and daughter, but they do. all their things they do is they're talking, right? But it's not English. So I noticed in their comment section the other day, somebody was like, "What accent are they speaking?" And somebody wrote, "They're speaking." No, what language are they speaking? So somebody said,
Right.
"Oh, they're speaking German with a Russian accent." And I thought, wow,
That's
that I would
funny.
never have known that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so can you imagine that? Somebody who speaks, I mean, I guess we're kind of used to hearing people speak English with a, a foreign accent, but I
Mhm.
suppose I didn't really think of that, that somebody could be, you know, Russian, but they're speaking German, and that was
It
fascinating to me. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah, it's an
god."
interesting mix. Well, you know
Yeah.
what's funny? I thought I had a real ear for accents, and I mean, I would like to think that I still do, but a West African accent, I don't have an ear for it the way I thought. I made a new, West African friend, and, like, I'm looking at his memes and stuff, and it's, like, breaking my brain a little bit 'cause it's just I don't understand the syntax or like, I'm learning, but it's so different than what I'm used to, and it just remind me of, I got into this show, Scamfish. It's like Catfish, but with romance scammers, and oh, Jen, it's the best. It's so funny because, like, 90% of the scams are from South Africa or from Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
And so these people have a South African accent,
No,
and
South
people are like, "I
Nigerians
can't,"
are West African. They're West
or
African,
that's
not
what I
South
mean,
African.
West African, I'm sorry, I mean West African.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
and it's just funny because people they don't have an ear for the accent. So they're saying, "Oh, I'm European, I'm this, I'm," and the scamfish people are like, "You can't tell with that accent," and they have no clue. And it just tickles me so it's so funny to me.
I don't think I could recognize, differences in the African accents, and I think it's probably
Mm,
because you need to hear quite a large sample, don't you,
I
of
think
the
so.
accent or of the language to, be able to differentiate, each one. Um, Barley says,
What is this? Oh,
I can guess immediately where people are from their language and accent. Immediately, I know. I struggle with Polish and German, sometimes, sometimes. Um,
Valley, you watch? Oh, it's so good. I was watching it for weeks and weeks. Now I think I've watched all the old episodes,
so
but it's a good show.
you're saying that the European women can't can't differentiate the differences between their accents? Is that
American.
what you're
There
saying?
were even there was even a woman that was in South Africa, and she didn't understand. She couldn't hear the West African accent because I think what's funny. I used to know a girl. People thought she had a British accent
Yeah,
because, but she was from Nigeria. So
yeah,
I mean, it's apparently a thing where it's hard to kind of make, kind of hear out their accent. And but I mean, I guess if someone's kind of, these scammers, they're really good. They have a whole script of, of stories that they weave together. They're really good storytellers. Well, they're good and they're not in many ways. I think they play on people's emotions, but also like if you put two and two together, it doesn't add up.
yeah,
So it does, yeah. So in that sense, that they're not good storytellers, but in the sense of like a soap opera, is they come up with all of these different things. Like they say, "Oh, I have an inheritance that's coming, but I need to be married," and then they have a lawyer, guy that's playing, and they connect them to because of course they don't feel comfortable sharing their sensitive details, their passport and everything with some random person. So I'm gonna let you talk to my lawyer. who's also completely in on the scam. And then
Mm.
sometimes there's children involved. I mean, it's a whole thing. But
It's awful what
if
they
we're just
do. I've seen
yeah,
programs about it. I've seen, like, quite a few programs on it, and it's just awful what they do, isn't it?
it really is. But you know what? With these people, they never get on camera. Like they send them the worst Photoshop pictures you've ever seen. It's it's like if they tell anybody, their friends and family are like, you know, that's a scam, right? You know, like
But they don't see it, do
so
they?
but
They don't
they
see
I
it,
don't
but I
think they
think
want to see it.
yeah,
Yeah, because they
exactly.
like the attention. But the funny thing is with
Yeah.
some of these people, I don't think they're getting the deal that they think they're getting. Because you can rent like an online boyfriend or something, or like I've heard of like AI girlfriends, AI boyfriends,
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
probably more economical. So
Oh,
they're just I don't know what they're doing. Like one guy, he thought or he the story was that this woman essentially had like a handler or a trafficker that wasn't that was keeping her trapped, and he needed to like pay her ransom. And the scam fish people are like, you like you were gonna buy a woman like so some of these people are cheating on their spouses. Or like this one man, he was so terrible, Jan. He was like, the girl that I have, like she loves me and she's had my children and everything, but she's kind of fat. So I don't
oh
really
my
like,
God. How rude.
she's it's so funny.
But the
So it's
Africans
like you
like
really
their
don't
women
feel
big.
as bad for them.
The Africans like their women big anyway. Supposedly. I mean, I shouldn't,
But
stereotype,
I
but
don't think but I don't think they're really interested in them. Like I don't think Africans like the people that are talking to them are looking at them at any more than like a John or a trick or like as a scam mark or target.
there was a film called Shirley Valentine. Have you ever seen it? I think it is a
No.
British film, and so you may not have heard of it. And it's basically about
Mhm.
this British woman who, she's, I don't know, maybe in her 50s, and she decides to go on holiday. I want to say Greece. I think she went to, and, of course, it's the usual, the waiter's, like, overly friendly, and she's flirting away with him for ages and, for most of the week, and then, they finally sort of get together, and she ends up, having this sort of, whirlwind romance with him. Now, I can't remember what happens, but where over here, if somebody says, "Oh, it's a Shirley Valentine type of thing," everyone knows what they're talking about. I think I'm right in saying she brings him home and finds out, what he's really like, but it's very much, and I don't wanna say it's a scam. I think that's different to the scams that the African men do on the women, but it's similar. It's a similar sort of scenario. Um, but it's a shame because they know the women to pick on, and it's normally
Mhm.
women that have gone on holiday with their couple of their girlfriends, and, they're all in their 50s, sometimes even older, and these men they just know the right things to say. I mean, you say they've got a script. They certainly have, because they've been doing it for so long, and they
Yeah,
wipe
you
these
can copy
women.
and paste it, Jan. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. This stuff is so well known that if you just drop it into Google, it'll come right up. So they're
yeah,
saying like, if you search and it's a certain kind of phone number or if the emails don't have enough. I noticed when I'm talking, I mean, when you're talking to a real person and when you're not. Like if someone
yeah.
tells you that they're from a certain part of the country or from this or that, and they just don't sound like they are, that's a red flag.
Yeah, I know. But I think when it comes to, like, the real scams, um, where, you know, these women have their bank accounts wiped by these guys, and they bring them home, and they live a life for about, you know, 2 weeks of bliss, and then they start seeing, oh, sometimes they don't even see it, you know. This
Mhm.
guy that they brought back, who they've married on the beach in Ghana, who's like 23, he starts acting a little
Oh,
bit
could you
differently.
imagine?
It's
J
awful. It's awful what they
Jan, I
do.
am 30, what am I, 36, 37? So I forget. But anyway, I'm 35. Anybody younger than 25 is a child. I can imagine. And
Mhm.
25, like honestly, less than 30 at this point. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I mean, I honestly believe that. I mean, my youngest boy now, he's 24, and he's still. I mean, I've called him the teen for years now, and he is. I still look at him as if he's a child, but then I do that with all my kids. To be honest, I think that's just a mother thing. But yeah,
No.
I mean, some of these guys are so young, and these women. I mean, you look at these women sometimes and you think, "Oh my god, you must be so desperate. Why could you not see it?" You know? But I think a lot has to be said for how these boys are saying the right things and making that woman feel so special, especially when they're still in Africa, you know, they treat them like gold. Um,
Well, I
but
mean, it's easy to do when all you gotta do is text. You know what I mean? You're just sending pictures of flowers. You're not sending real flowers or whatever. I can imagine. You know, like sometimes
so
they talk, like they show the
you're talking about online, aren't you?
right.
I'm talking about the women that go on holiday and actually meet
Oh,
these guys.
okay.
They're actually there, and the guys in the village, if you like, it's a bit sort of simplistic to
Mhm.
put it this way, but the guys see these women come off come, you know, off the plane and into the
And they see
hotels,
that their
and they
ticket out.
swoop on
Yeah.
them. So eh, that's, I mean, it's the same sort of thing, but yeah, these women actually see the young guys and they still fall for it. It's terrible. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
I just don't get like how I mean, but that's clearly what they want, right? You know, if they say like, hey, like I don't mind paying for a young man's companionship, that's on them.
yeah, it is on them." But I think, you know, from a humanitarian viewpoint, you have to recognise that they are being fooled. They are being, scammed. I mean, you must have watched Catfish. Have you ever
Mhm.
watched Catfish?
Yes, but Jan, it's like, come on, they know that I don't know because you know we see couples all the time. Like I remember it was this woman, she met a guy from like across the world. She was maybe in California, he was in like Ireland, and she was a bigger girl, and you know he wasn't like a prize or whatever. But you know, it could be said that maybe he would be out of her league or what. Like they just weren't. They didn't look like they would go together. And it's like 8 years later, they're still together, like married. You know, so it's not to say that it never happens, but I mean, if you're of a certain age and it's not likely. You should, and maybe you should have some things in place where you don't jump in like feet first without a prenup or, you know, certain protections.
Yeah. Right. So I put into Google women that get scammed. Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we're talking about slightly different things.
We are.
Because you're talking more about, you know, people who get scammed sort of on the phone or online, whereas I'm talking about the women that actually have met the guy, and I think there is a difference. Let's just see what the chat's saying. Mm, 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 mm.
Oh, Bally said she
Okay,
saw the one. Yeah,
it's
he's
mu
terrible.
it's
What?
mutual
Sorry.
exploitation sometimes. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, sorry, go on. Carry on, Edna.
Oh no, I was just gonna say with Bally, like it's hard to really feel bad for some of these people because it's so clear you're not video chatting, you're barely talking on the phone, the accents don't match up. You know, they say that they're in the military and but they need money for like basic necessities. And it's like if you're working a job, like all of that's gonna be covered. So, it just the things just don't make sense. They send them IDs or passports, and it's like if you've ever taken an ID picture, you know that you can't have, certain like a hat on or certain things, and the pictures just don't look like professional pictures.
Yeah, I know. We know that. But it's like my friend Patrick, okay? He's a pilot and he's got
Mhm.
like he's got like what is it over 700K followers on Instagram. Now, a lot well, some of his followers are women from, say, Indonesia or, a lot of them are Asian women. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that hi um, scam people in his chats because they and it's amazing how they do it, and I don't know how they do it. And they do FaceTime these women, but they FaceTime them in the dark. Don't know how they do it. And then they must
I've
have
seen
some
some
sort of
videos where they use a certain video or they use a certain software in a picture and they're able to manipulate it in such a way to where it just looks like a really crappy video.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
Okay.
they do, and they people do it a lot on Instagram with like with the good-looking pilots or the good-looking bodybuilders or things like that, and you're always gonna get people who are, they're predators, and they will swoop down on these young girls and pretend that they're, I can, I can use him really. Now I get people DM me in Instagram saying, "Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm really glad that you're following me." And
Oh,
normally
wow.
I know, and normally I'll just block them, but sometimes I have a little fun.
Mhm.
So I say, "Oh god," and I
Oh,
act
yeah.
like I'm, that I believe them, and I say, "Oh my god, I never thought that you'd contact me," and blah de blah de blah. Um, and then after a little while, because I get bored very quickly, I'll then say, "Yeah, you do realise that I am actually a friend of Patrick's," and they disappear.
What did they say?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
or they
You
they they never come back because 'cause they're not gonna argue about it, are they?
okay.
So, yeah, but
Well,
they're
you know what?
so
I had one scammer. He
clever.
he refused to admit that he was scamming. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
of
even
course
say for
they
sure if it
will.
huh?
Of course they will. What, refuse to
Sometimes.
admit?
Right.
Yeah, of course they will, because, it's a crime. What they're doing is a crime. It's exploitation. Right, so, okay. I'm in love with a Nigerian internet fraudster. The women who carry on loving romance scammers, even after the man's been exposed as a fraud and taken them to the cleaners. See, I don't understand. I'd be like, well, so it says, like many women who become the victims of romance scammers operating overseas, Sammy, 41, was going through a challenging time when she met a man who said he was a 45-year-old civil engineer called Rob.
They're
He
always
con-
engineers.
yeah, always. He contacted her out of the blue via Instagram just as she was getting divorced. As the weeks passed, they began to grow together. See, that's how they do it. They do it through
Mhm.
Instagram or maybe Facebook or you know, that they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I saw lots of stories of people getting message from groups on Facebook, or one woman that was even words with friends. A couple of people. It was like not dating apps. That's what surprised me.
Yeah. So after a while, he told her how his sick father. See, so they soon sort of kick in the, you know, manipulation, um,
Hmm.
or yeah, to sort of uh, tweak their
It's a way
sympathy
to be
bone,
able
if
to
you
ask for
like.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a while, he told her how sick his father was, that his bank account had been frozen and that he needed help. Sammy sent him several £1,000s and also bought Bitcoin for him, effectively
Mhm.
laundering cash he sent her. Um, what? Effectively laundering cash he sent her. He sent
With
her?
the Bitcoin, yeah, well, because Jan, when it comes to the cryptocurrency, it's not super anonymous, but it's a way for you to take like cash and turn it into another good and transport it easily.
Oh, see, I don't understand any of that. I wouldn't touch it.
Oh, there's
Uh,
there's whole scams just around the crypto investing. But see, a lot of like one thing that was pretty good about some of these scammers is that they will give false login, or it's a fake uh like bank login page, and they give them login information, and they log in and they see this account with millions of dollars, and it's just frozen because I have to be there in person to verify my identity and blah blah blah, and you just loan me, the money I need until I can get there, kind of thing.
mhm.
But none of the money's real, but they think it is, and they're building all this trust because it's like, oh, you let me log into your account with all this money in it. It's wild.
Yeah. So she then discovered that the pictures he was using were all stolen and the identity a fabrication. For many people reading stories like Sammy's, it's hard to comprehend why so many apparently sensible women send money to romance fraudsters. See, that's what you were saying. Don't understand how they would do it. Um, and I feel exactly
Because
the
I'm not giving
same.
a man any money.
I wouldn't. Definitely not. The truth is, it's a
Mm-mm.
very complex crime. Most of us don't look beyond that acquiescent handover of cash. And as a result, there's a lot less sympathy for victims, even when they've lost tens of thousands of pounds. That's true. It's like, did you see the Netflix program? What was it called? The Making of Anna? Was it the Making of Anna?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Mm.
you should
I thought you were
see
gonna say
that.
the Tinder Swindler. Tinder Swindler.
Yeah, yeah, the same thing. Well, no, I mean, her story is unbelievable. We'll check that out in a minute.
Okay.
She was a major fraudster, and
Oh wait, is
she,
this the woman who basically like faked her way into being a socialite by
yes,
pretending to have okay, I've heard bits and pieces, but I've never seen like the docu-series or anything.
yeah. What was her name? Anna Levy, I think. We'll check her out in a minute. Um,
Okay.
right, okay. So it says the victims themselves often feel huge shame and embarrassment, and don't tell anyone what's happened to them, not even their families, especially not their families. Oh, there was one that I saw, and I don't know whether it was on Netflix, can't remember what it was called. And yeah, this guy, right, the Tinder swindler. Oh, I'm gonna need to check that out now if this is the same guy I'm thinking of. And this guy was doing it to several women. And some of these women, like, he met this girl, this young girl. She's young. I think she might have been, she was European. I don't think she was British, but I think she was living in London. And I can't remember
Hmm.
how they met. But um so they met, say, not in a club, but maybe in a bar or something, I don't know. And then he contacted her and said, "Oh, would you like to go on a date with me?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be nice." So the next thing, he phones her like to confirm the date or something, and he says, "Oh well, I hope your passport's in order because we're going to be going to Paris." And she's like, "Oh my god, that'd be wonderful!" So anyway, they fly off to Paris on her first date. Who does that?
Oh my
Right.
goodness. Yeah.
Anyway, he oh God, he took everything from her. When they got there, of course, he'd lost his wallet. So it's like, "Oh, would you mind just paying for for the hotel that we're staying in, and I'll pay him for the meal and this, that, and the other." And this went on. Oh yeah, and then that was it. Then I think they maybe on the second night he said, "Oh God, I've got a meeting. I'm going to have to fly to Austria. So if you wouldn't mind, making your own way back to London." And she said, "Oh well, I was a bit disappointed about it." I thought, what?
Oh my goodness.
So she's gone all
It
the
is,
way over there, and
yeah.
he's not spent a penny. But it was I think it was on Netflix, and he actually got away with it. And that's not the Tinder swindler, is it? Tell me about the Tinder swindler, and I'll tell you if it's the same guy. Edna.
That sounds like a story that happened with I want to say this was a Canadian woman or maybe they were American, but it was a they went across from America to Canada, I think. And the guy basically left her stranded. She wasn't feeling well and she ended up like not getting into a club. But she just cut her losses and left the next day. And it came out on TikTok, or yeah, I believe it came out on TikTok because he was so surprised that she just left. And she wasn't gonna say anything about it, but she was like, yeah, she kind of gave, um more of the story. And apparently he like it wasn't a scam, but he was just like he wasn't there, like he wasn't acting like he was there with her. So I don't like, and that's more of what I would expect. It's kind of like you're doing this wild and kind of crazy thing where you don't know who you're going with, so you never know what might happen. So you need to be able to take care of, of what those different possibilities might be, including getting yourself back home.
Right. I
And with
know.
this girl, she
Can you
was.
imagine
Yeah.
that? You think you're going to be like wined and dined, and then when you get there, he's
No,
making all
I
these
wouldn't expect.
excuses. Right, I've got this up here, the Tinder swindler. Okay. Fraudster Simon Leviev tricked women he met on Tinder. It might be him into
Mhm.
handing over hundreds of thousands of pounds. Let me see. Yeah,
Hey, Capone.
just look for a guy who wants a cup of coffee for the first date.
Oh, right.
Oh my God. Hi, Capone. How are you, darling? I hope you're well. Capone quits following me. You going on all the live streams, are you? Hi, Jarella. How are you? We're talking about swindlers today. So, um, hang on, let's do this. Right. So I wanted. Oh yes, this was her. Yeah, this was the girl I was talking about. Cecile. How do you spell that? Cecily. IE on the end. She was from Norway. Yeah, so she'd not long moved to London when she found herself going out with who she thought was a globe-trotting millionaire. That was it. I shouldn't laugh because yeah, awful. Um, she said, "I didn't have a big friendship circle and he gave me the attention I needed. But despite hundreds of red roses and lots of supposed love and attention, Leviev scammed her out of £185,000 in the 13 weeks after their first date. So they'd only been going out for a few weeks. Right, upon realizing his
Ain't no
scam,
way. I
yeah,
mean, oh my goodness.
it was awful. Upon realizing his scheme, Cecile described feeling suicidal and almost crashed her car. But let me
Oh,
see the bit where they go on their date. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, but he didn't get jailed, did he? Am I right in saying that? He didn't get
I have
jailed?
no idea.
Oh, okay. Uh, duh, duh, duh. Okay. Right. So they're just listing all the victims. They're not actually going through the whole stories of what happened. But yeah, she's the one that went for the first date in it was either Paris or Bulgaria or somewhere. It was in Europe, but it was insane. But I mean, it was on Netflix, and I just felt so sorry for her. I couldn't help it, but some people were saying, well, she shouldn't be so, it serves her right. She was just being greedy. And it's like,
I don't
well,
think it serves her right. Because, I mean,
um,
it's possible, but it's just that if it's too good to be true, well, first of all, it just doesn't make sense. If he's a millionaire, why are you giving up 185,000?
yeah, well, because when he got over
100,000?
there, oh, he would keep saying, "Oh my God," he'd phone her up and say, "Oh, I've got this big deal on the table and I can't believe it. The bank are not releasing my money. I don't know what to
Mm,
do." And she obviously, had a bit of money and she'd say, "Oh, okay, I'll send over. How much do you need?" And she'd be sending him over thousands of pounds, thousands of it. Now, this is the second one. I mean, they're pretty girls. They're not, I wouldn't have thought that they'd be struggling for male attention. Now, this one, she was in Sweden, a business owner, and she first met Leviev just 2 months after he matched with Cecile. She just split from her fiance of almost 8 years. After months of deceit and parting with significant amounts of cash, Pernilla was contacted by journalists. Oh, from VG and reported Leviev to the police. He didn't. Does anyone know the story on him? Because I think he's still a. He didn't get jailed, did he? For some reason, there's a hole or something. So then there's this
mm,
woman. Right, Aileen is understood to live in Amsterdam and work in the luxury fashion industry. So he was very clever in picking women that were actually quite sort of well off to begin with. Because I mean, it's no good picking
right.
someone who's got no money, is it? That'd be a
I'm
bit of a
telling you,
waste of time.
he would get nowhere with me. I'm telling you.
I know. Um, Right, so she learned from a newspaper article that her boyfriend of 14 months was scamming women out of money all over Europe. But instead of running scared, she beat him at his own game and scammed him right back. She said, "Suddenly I realized I was in quite a positive position." Aileen pretended to remain loyal to Leviev and even branded those accusing him of fraud as bullies. She suggested Leviev let her sell some of his designer clothes, oh God, for a quick cash fix
Ooh.
and quickly earn thousands of pounds. Aileen helped police track him down and he was eventually extradited to Israel after attempting to board a flight using a fake passport. She said during the documentary, of course it wasn't in line with everything that I gave him, but it felt like a little bit of payback. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, God, it's just insane what these people get away with. I don't think I'm gonna play that because I'll be copyright struck. But yeah, that's him. I think he's an Israeli guy. Um, so
Okay.
nobody knows if he got away with it. Capone says some people are con artists. This dude went to extremes to appear legitimate. Exactly. He did.
Mm.
I mean, he doesn't have the face of a scammer, does he? But he was like high end, wasn't he? if you put it that way.
Perhaps.
He was
I
high
mean,
end.
I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine someone asking me for thousands of dollars, like a millionaire asking me for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but maybe that's because you haven't got it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
I'm not being
So,
funny, but that's what I mean about him, um, choosing certain women. There were certain women he was going for. Oh yeah, I remember that. He hired a bodyguard and rented all these extravagant things. That's right, because he would use the bodyguard to, to sort of substantiate some of his ridiculous claims. And yeah, I mean, the bodyguard was definitely in on it. And that was one
mhm,
of the things he would do. Like they'd be in the restaurant and all of a sudden the bodyguard would turn up and say, "Oh, covered in blood or something. And say, I've been attacked," or something like that. And they've taken my money or something or other. Some sort of thing would be going on. Oh, he was very
mhm.
clever the way the way he did it. What a nasty man. Right, let me say, right, okay, let's see what it says here. Is he in jail? Because none of you seem to know what happened to him. Right, okay.
Mm.
Let's click on there. Is the Tinder swindler in jail? Okay. And I think this is what has pissed off a lot of people because he did actually get away with it. Um, right, Leviev is now living as a free man in Israel, but apparently has plans to break into Hollywood following the popularity of the Netflix documentary. Can you believe it? Can you believe
I
it?
I absolutely can't believe it because it's an amazing story. It's like Catch Me If You Can or something. Probably make a good movie.
Right, how long was he in jail? So it happened in December 2019. He was convicted of theft, fraud, and forgery of documents in Israel, charges from 2011, unrelated to his crimes across Europe, and sentenced to 15 months in prison. After serving 5 months of jail time, he was released on good behaviour. See, it's so wrong. Right,
Well,
so
probably
look,
due to the pandemic too, because this was December of 2019. 2020 was just a few months away.
yeah,
I
right.
mean,
So
even when
it
you look
says,
at it, if it's not a violent crime, I don't know.
oh,
It,
but he
it,
destroyed some of these women's life, though, Edna. So it says here, why is Tinder Swindler not in jail? The simple answer is that Leviev's crimes are too vast and too complicated to legally pin down for prosecution. Can you believe that? I'm
what do you
I'm
mean too
just
vast? Like it's over too many jurisdictions?
I'm just trying to think, where did they take it? Where was he charged? That's an interesting thought. I wonder where he was charged and how. I still don't know. I mean, there's loads of things that he could have been charged with. It was more than just theft, fraud, and forgery of documents. Oh no, that's of something else, wasn't it? But I mean, what he did to those women, it was embezzlement. It was theft. It was I don't know. There's just I can't think of other words to put it into, but I just can't believe that he managed to get away with it. And he's served 5 months. 5 months of jail time, which was not even related to what he did to those women. It's
Really?
insane. Um, okay, so here, the Tinder right, the Tinder swindler, okay, just got an arrest warrant after he's accused of using yet another fake identity. See, the thing is, he's just going around ripping women off left, right, and centre. Shimon. That reminds me, years ago I had a hairdresser called Shimon, and he was Israeli as well. So it'd be interesting to say. I can't believe that, people said, "Oh, well, it's too long. He's had too many crimes. There's too many crimes, so we won't bother. We'll just let him stay out there and carry on doing what he's been doing to these women."
Yeah, that's really wild. I guess maybe they figured that he's known now, so he's not gonna trick anyone else. I don't know.
Terrible. I just think it's awful. So this other one, right? Let's see. As we've reached the hour, I haven't got anything lined up. So I was going to say, let's have a quick break so I can run in and get myself something to drink. And then we'll be back. So we'll put a nice fun one on. So we'll be back in a little while, guys. And we're back in the room. I've Googled this other person. I said it was Making or Anna or something, didn't I? I was wrong. It was called Inventing Anna. And
Oh,
it's,
okay.
yeah, and it's a limited series. Tells a wild, true story of fraudster Anna Sorokin. Now, who posed as a wealthy German heiress named Anna Delvey, whilst living in New York. That's the one that you said that you'd heard of, the one that sort of,
Right.
somehow managed to sort of completely scam the whole of New York's hierarchy. weird, absolutely weird. Um, so what does it say? What is the Netflix movie about Anna? Duh, 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 duh. Okay, so let's look at that one and see what that one says. It was unbelievable, but at least she did get to go to jail. I don't know if she's still in there, but she did get to go to jail, and that's what I think. I think that the furore about the Tinder swindler was that he actually got away with it. He's not. There's had, there's been no repercussions for him. Whereas at least with Anna, she did actually get caught and um, she did serve. I don't know if she's still in prison or not. Um, so right, so and she's so stuck up as well. I mean, I watched a video of her, and she's got no remorse at all. No remorse. Do you know what? She could be like created from AI. I mean, she's just got no emotion whatsoever. I've seen interviews of her, and she's just
Well, what did
awful.
she feel bad about? She pretended to have money, so she got into parties and stuff. Like, what did she do?
Right, okay. I don't know if this is the right one to. Right, there she is. Oh, that was the actress, I think. Yeah, that was the actress who played her. Let me just. Right. I just want to find a short summary, but they're talking more about um, the person who went hunting for her. Uh, right. Right. So Anna. Yeah. No, it's that's not. That's going more into the actual program instead of just telling you what the story is. They're going into the actual documentary. Um, right, so let's see if we can find what was the movie about? Uh okay, let's look at it on here. Let's look at it on here. Uh do, 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 do. Oh no, they're talking about the making of it. We don't want to learn about the making of it. We just want to know the story of it. Uh Oh, it's here. One of the questions is, why can't I watch Inventing Anna on Netflix? Weird. Um, so they're just sort of talking about the making of the documentary. What's that one? BuzzFeed. Right, let's click on that one. So they're just talking about, okay, let's accept that. Let's see, let's share that. So here, this is the actress that played her in the series. Um, so right, so she's like, when she got the part and she got the script, she was like, I pretty much read it and freaked out at the same time as everybody else. There are articles all the time, but that was a special one. I kind of had a feeling when I read the article that they would make a project out of it. The story was just too good. It was unbelievable how she managed to weasel her way into, into New York City high society, basically, on a promise. She was always promising that she had the money in the bank, but her father was gonna be getting the money to her, and that's, like, even for, like, bank loans, and it wasn't just that she was scamming, regular people, she was actually scamming banks and businesses. It was insane. That's her. Uh, right.
And
Okay.
that's what I feel. I don't feel bad for them either because you're a whole bank and you just gonna give somebody all this money on an IOU. Okay.
Exactly, that's what it was though. But you won't believe, I mean, she did have friends in inverted commas, um, that she used and abused basically, and got like loads of money from them as well. It would always be, oh well, my dad's going to send me the money over. Oh, I'm sorry, darling, you get this. She goes on a girls' holiday with a couple of them, and she doesn't have to pay for it because she gets what she does is she pretends that she's lost her wallet, and one of her friends pays for it, actually pays for the holiday. And I mean, we're talking of like a really good holiday of a lifetime. Um,
Right.
yeah, insane. Um, right, okay, so this is what she said. She said the one who played her, the girl, that's the actress, right, played her. Um, and she said, I knew that Anna was going to be smart and charming because obviously she had to be to accomplish what she did. She got all that stuff done and scammed these people for a reason. The thing that I was the most surprised about when I met her was I didn't expect how likable, so likable she is, Julia explained. She was so bubbly and just very charming. If she was carrying herself like a villain, nobody would have invested in her. No one would have wanted to be around her. There was something about her that people wanted to be around. Every con artist is charismatic in some way. And I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same with the Tinder swindler. He's not a bad looking guy. Women just didn't think. They don't, as I said, quite flippantly, well, he doesn't look like a con artist. Well, what does a con artist look like? Um, so
It's
yeah.
not a look, it's just it's what they're saying if it makes sense. I guess I've always kind of when something doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, and I don't force it.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're just talking about the artist there, which is rubbish. That's not what I want. Um, right, okay. And the thing is she had an accent. I don't know if the accent was, yeah, I think that the accent was true. I don't think she faked the accent, but she faked her sort of inheritance, if you like. She faked the fact that her father was a billionaire and was going to be sending her money all the time. Um, she explained, this is a person who was born in Russia and then moved to Germany, but because she's so gifted in languages, she was convincing enough to make people believe that she's German. But at the same time, it's very clear that she doesn't sound like someone who is from a family that lived in Germany for hundreds of years. So the first thing that I had to learn was a German accent. Oh, this is the actress. German
Oh,
accent kind of monotone, and they have a vocal fry at the end of every sentence. Okay. Um, yeah, that's her in the film. Yeah, so she had to get like the German and she had to learn German and Russian accents and mix the two together.
that's
Weird. Yeah, so quite interesting.
but see, it doesn't make sense because we, I don't know, maybe just a little different because we don't have social media the way we have now. But it's like I feel like even years ago, there were certain people who were talking about, like how e-commerce is gonna really blow up on your phone and X, Y, and Z. And they were just talking about these labels. Like it was this woman who really tried to prevent like that she was part of luxury and she was like on the cutting edge of luxury commerce. And I suppose maybe she could like who knows? I've never heard of her since. So it's kind of reminded me of maybe I knew somebody or I've heard of people that could get away with something like this. But at the same time, they she would have actually have had her business. I don't know if she would have been able to BS her way through it, or maybe. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, you should try and watch it, if you get the chance. And whilst it's easy, I think, to blame the victim, um, and especially with Anna's story, it's like, but okay, so she did scam some of these friends that she'd made, but the most fascinating and unbelievable thing about her story is that she scammed banks and businesses, and she
Right.
decided she was gonna buy this big block in New York City and have, like, this fabulous, I think it was like a store or something. It was a huge building, and part one floor was gonna be, retail, and then the next floor was gonna be a restaurant, and the next floor was gonna be housing, and she got the backing for all that. And it's like, how the hell? And you saw her, there's nothing special about her, but I think a lot of it, I think somebody said it in the chat earlier, a lot of it is about they have so much belief in themselves. They have to believe it 100% themselves. Do you know, she had the most amazing holidays with these girlfriends, and didn't spend a
Right.
penny, not a penny. And I think that's what if I'm right, did she get caught out on that holiday? And there was one where, um, yeah, I think the girl that she stole a lot of money from, the girl that paid for that holiday, which, and we're talking about thousands of pounds because they stayed in the top place. They paid, she paid for the flights for all six of them and all the rest of it. We're talking about thousands of pounds here. And it's
Mhm.
easy to think, "Oh, well, they're wealthy anyway, they won't miss it." No, I don't agree with that at all. I just think it's like it's the act of betrayal. I think when it's a personal level, when it's on a personal level, it's about betrayal. And some of
Right.
her victims, some of Anna's victims, especially that friend in particular, I think she had a nervous breakdown over it. So it's not
Oh,
so
wow.
much the monetary thing, it's about the betrayal. But this Anna is just unbelievable. Please check her out because I can't I can't explain it well enough, about just how evil she actually was. And the kind of person she was, or well, and still is apparently. So yeah. So let me just go back onto chat, and then I think we're gonna call it a night. Uh, right, okay. Do, 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 do. Right, okay, so we're talking about how well all the languages that Bali talks. I'd love to be multilingual. I'd love to be. Uh, right. So Barley says, yes, you have to make yourself believe in your own story. That's right. I am not talking
Mhm.
experience, but a little maybe. I didn't scam anyone for money, but I worked for Israel and sold to Arabs. Oh, right. Yeah, I think you have to be, I don't know, a certain mindset. Um, it's quite intriguing, really. It's a shame that I'm nervous to play videos. Um, Because, they can be copyright striked, but, it's
Right.
incredible how, actually, I will. I just show something. Right, just one sec. Oh, I've closed down the tab. So let's open that and get into here. See, I watched a lot of her story because I like body language. So I watched this one called The Behavior Panel, although they get on my nerves sometimes. Um, Now, what's she called? Anna, and they talk about her, Anna Delvey. Right, this is her, right? So, oh, no, stop it. Stop it, Dana, whatever your name is. Share the screen. That Dana again. She's always
a
at it.
live webinar platform. How would you describe the real Anna Delvey?
See,
Who is
this is
she?
her.
Oh, that's such a loaded question.
Today, we're going to talk about Anna Delvey, and you may be familiar with her from her Netflix special. And she's a con artist. And Greg, why don't you tell us about the videos we're going to take a look at today?
Yeah, there are 5 documentaries about Anna Sorokin, who became Anna Delvey, and she was a grifter. There's one called The Grifter of Soho, I think, and she created a whole persona for herself that she was some heiress from Germany or from somewhere in Europe, nobody knew exactly where, and tried to milk people out of money. She did manage to do a couple of them. There are specials on many channels. The biggest thing to know is that she is now in jail awaiting deportation. She went to jail for a while, spent, I think, 19 months, got out, and now she's awaiting deportation in an upstate New York jail.
People see you as the ultimate scammer. Are you?
No, absolutely not. The idea would be for this business to work and I would just repay everything.
The impression these bankers are getting is that you have millions and millions of dollars in your account. If you have these millions, why do you need their money to fund your club?
Even the richest of people always take out loans. I was just trying to get a cheap loan.
All right, Chase, what do you got?
I think it's
And the thing is, she never had the money, though. Do you see what I mean? She didn't have that money. But then when you look at her talking there, it's like it's nothing. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to skip along to that as well. It's like unbelievable. How did she con all these people? There, let's go to there. There. Right, okay.
Many people would find that very strange, that you had gotten into trouble, you went to trial, you went to prison, and there's a Netflix deal around your story?
I find it strange too.
You sort of milking your crime for the fame?
No, definitely not.
Do you feel badly? Do you have regrets?
I feel like I'm just trying to deal with consequences of my actions. I was young. I would not repeat my actions. I'm just trying to make the best out of my situation.
All right, Chase, what do you got?
so right at the beginning, she says, I find it strange too. And I think this is Anna's social brain at work. If many people have an idea, I need to have that same idea as well. This interviewer uses a lot of people find it strange, so Anna magically adapts the exact same feeling as those people. So there's a social thing going on here. But listen to this bizarre upward tone in all the interviewers' questions. It's a pretty unusual, something I've never seen before. And
okay, guys, if you like, I mean, I love this. I've watched so many of their videos. They sort of talk about many different people that you hopefully will know. But then, having said that, none of you have heard of her, and you didn't really know who the Tinder Swindler was. So yeah, okay, maybe I just live in a different world to everybody else. But yeah, so it's quite fascinating. Now, when you talk to her, did she come across as overly confident? I don't think so. She came across to me, she came across as like a bit squeaky, you know, do you know what I mean? But it's just incredible. So please
But she
go and
did
watch
kind of,
it.
it just seemed like she was coming across as trying to be like a nation sweetheart type of personality. Like the girl
Yeah.
next door.
So how did she get all this money? How did she manage to get into a bank and convince people to give her thousands of dollars? Doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Oh dear. It was quite interesting though to talk about it. And that's what I mean about there's so much you can learn from online. And I don't know if you're into true crime, are you, Edna?
No, not typically.
Yeah. See, I'm very into true crime.
Okay.
And this
I'll fall down a rabbit hole and I can't get out. You know, it might take me a couple of hours, but for the most part, I try to stay away from those stories. They kind of creep me out.
oh, do they? But if you have a
Mm-hmm.
look, I'll just show you their page. If you have a look here, they cover a lot of people. And what they do is they look at the body language. I don't always agree with them. Like
Okay.
I didn't agree with the Meghan and Harry thing, but that's another story. But so they do the royals, they do Joe Biden, they do a lot of the high profile murder cases, a lot of famous people. So I mean, if you're did you know about the John Burnett Ramsey case?
Oh, of
Uh,
course. I remember that from when I was younger. It
okay, so
was,
they've done the body
yeah,
language
really
thing for
disturbing.
yeah, she was the little sort of beauty queen, wasn't she? Um,
Mhm.
and so they've done, you know, a story on that, where they're sort of watching the interview. A lot of what they do is they watch an interview of somebody and then speak on the body language. So they did an interview with her mother, and also the McCanns. Have you heard of the McCann story? The little girl, the little English girl that went missing in Greece, Crete. Madeleine
Oh,
McCann?
nope.
Ah, okay. Um,
Sorry.
alright. Have you heard of Amanda Knox? No, making
No.
of a murderer? Okay.
I
Alright.
don't like
So,
all these, stories of murder and no thank you.
alright. Okay. Um, okay. What is that about
Cat
Amanda
Williams, that
Knox?
sounds interesting.
Sorry?
Cat Williams, I heard I didn't see the interview, but I saw a lot of clips from it. It was quite funny. Have you heard about it?
No. And,
No.
no, I haven't. What did he do?
He was just giving an interview and he was kind of spilling tea about some of the happenings in Hollywood and how, it's like you have to do certain things to be part of the Illuminati or to be part of the in circle to get certain roles and stuff. He was
Well, we
he was
know
calling
that,
out other
don't we?
comedians for stealing roles. Yeah. And that's the
So
thing, it's nothing that I mean, it's the big open secret. So it's kind of interesting how, it's like he's almost getting all these pats on the back for talking about it. But, we know something's going on.
so is he famous? Is he famous in America? Is
Yes,
he
he is.
anything?
Is he what?
Is he an actor or something?
He's a
How do
comedian.
side stories?
You don't know anything about Kentwood. Yeah, I mean, he's not. I don't know. He's kind of famous for playing a pimp and different things. He has a comedy. He's a well-known comedian.
Oh, I've not heard of him. See, I like the crime ones. I mean, they did do one on the Punch, on the Will Smith Punch.
Oh,
Um,
okay. What did they say about that?
and also they've done like on Jada Pinkett Smith. I can't remember. It was a long time ago now that I've watched it.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so we've obviously got different tastes.
yeah.
Bit of a waste of
Oh
time
yeah,
me
because I
talking
can
about this.
imagine if they're in like during the interview to kind of say like they by Jada certain uh actions kind of speak to if they're probably telling the truth or not. I can see that. Okay. Because I'm just trying to, some of these stories, it's like, it is what, like when Kat was saying, certain things, I don't think it was much of a question if he was lying or not. A lot of the people that he spoke about came out and almost confirmed what he was saying in the way they responded.
Maybe I'll have a look at that one. Yeah, it might be worth a look.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're going to go. I'm going to say thank you so much, Edna. Thanks for coming up, darling. Nice chilled
Thanks
chat,
for having me.
which was nice. What should we go over on Friday? Drama Friday. God, there's so much going on. It's
Jen, your
mad.
emergency stream cracked me up.
Did you like it?
Oh, I don't want to say too much because I don't. I guess I hurt his feelings. I didn't think what I said was that bad. I was, and then to have Vita come up and say what she had to say, yeah, I think that's a whole drama Friday right there.
Yeah, but I've already done the emergency one, haven't I? Maybe I'll do a breaking
Oh yeah,
news
that's
on
right.
it.
I mean, I'm sure something else will happen. Have
Yeah,
you
I mean,
noticed Jamal, the newest person that Garlic Bread is talking about?
yeah. What do you think? Do you want to talk about that? We could possibly have a look at that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
I think
guy and he's introducing a guy into girl world.
yeah, and he's doing. He seems to sort of know what he wants. He does care about himself, and I think he is actually on a weight loss journey, which is good. He's not just a troll like Foodie is, so that's good.
Mhm.
I'm not sure about whether I want to talk about what's going on with Gigi and Yabba and Sam and everything. It's all just a whole pile of a steaming pile of shite. And I don't think I really want to get into that. So if there's anything else that people want to talk about, just let me know, guys. Just put it in my comment section or whatever, and we can talk about that. But I really, something I really don't want to be talking too
Oh,
much about them.
what about Sam and Yaba?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just don't really want to.
Oh, okay. You saying you don't want to get into it yet? Okay.
Well, I think there's so many players in it, and I think my opinion is that they're all as bad
Mhm.
as each other. And I think
Mhm.
it's a case of they're now all ready to scream, with their biggest voices and
Mhm.
just attack each other. And it's like, they'll all implode at the end. Barley says Hussey will panel with Jessica. Hussey will panel with anybody because he's desperate for attention. So yeah, he thinks he'll gain following because he's paneling up with her. But I mean, as I said, there's so many people in the mix. I think I just don't want to get involved in it really. Uh, it's
Okay.
just like a whole, as I said, it's just like a hot, steaming pile of shite.
Right.
What? What's that, Sasha? Hi, darling, by the way. Didn't see you come in. Jan, use your connections to get. Oh, you're on Sam's list, are you? I mean, I do listen to some of it, and I'm like, really? Seriously? Uh, How do these people honestly feel as if they have that much power? How do they have that much power? They've
Because
only got that much power because people give it to them. Instead of
Mhm.
saying, bog off with your nastiness, which is what I would say, they go along with it. How dare yeah. Anyway, this is for this should be for Drama Friday. So maybe we'll touch on it. Guys, if you've got anything to say about it on Friday, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. If somebody wants to compile the list for me, I can't. I mean, what I can't understand is how these people have got any following when they speak the way they speak. Sam has got the most irritating, condescending voice, even worse than mine. And I used to work in school. Do you know what I mean? And I used to be on the blooming stage and everything. My voice has earned me money. Do you know what I mean? Now Sam talks as if she is Lord and Master over everybody. And come on, guys, come on, you know. So I mean, yeah, we can have a Sam and Yaba section if you like. And I don't care if I get put on any list. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Does it mean I'm
Oh,
not
I
going to be able
forgot
to take
about the
my,
list.
does it mean that I'm not going to be able to take my granddaughter out for a meal tomorrow night? No. Does it mean that I'm not going to be able to do this at the weekend? No. Does it mean that, you know, come on, guys, let's be realistic. And I think, you know, people just get too dragged in. So maybe we will, maybe, maybe we will go over it. Hang on, I'm just laughing at this now. Fedora blocked me from her chat. She's also on my list now. You've got a list as well, have you, combined? Ah! I tell you what, though, Fedora is on my list of bloody doxers. That's what she's on. She needs to leave me the hell alone. Because one thing with me, I'll always speak up. Always. But yeah, guys, don't be worried about lists. Does that mean you're allowed back? What? What? What, me? You've never gone, darling. I've never sent you away. Right, okay, everyone write a list. Come in with your lists for Friday and we'll have a giggle. And you as well, Edna. Edna floating around everywhere.
Okay.
God knows where she's been this
I
week.
don't have a list. I'm trying to. Oh my goodness.
Edna just does her thing. And I mean, do you know what, Edna? We've been doing this for about 8 months or something now. And it's like I've always said, Edna is her own person. She goes where she wants. And, you know, she does what she likes. She's like a little butterfly, you know, sort of flutters around and just ends, you know, sort of flies out of the window or flies in the window, has a bit of a fly around in the room and then flies out again. That's our Edna. And, you know, I love her for it,
Like,
you know. So don't worry about, you know, you are going to get people that are going to be like, oh yeah, but how does Jan feel about Edna going into such and such a chat or this and that? And I couldn't give a monkeys. We're online. And also, I know Edna.
yeah, you know
You know?
what? I don't watch a lot of Kofi, but I love his stance, like the way he approaches it, presents his like his what do you call it? Soap opera, right? He just watching TV, and that's kind of how
Yeah,
I approach a lot of it. And not to say that, you know, I didn't get to know certain people and it's on my you know, it's like I didn't build, you know, more relationships or I wasn't more involved in certain chats than others because that's obvious. But all in all, I'm just, you know, I'm just watching the content. I'm just enjoying it for what it is, the craziness and of girl world. So it's not like, you know, I can go into somebody's live and appreciate it for what it is without, you know, being their number one supporter.
that's right. I mean, one thing doesn't negate the other. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what people don't understand. But I think some people have got such a sort of juvenile mindset about it. And it's like, well, you were over there. And I mean, it's actually quite funny how we found you in the end. It's just, you couldn't make it up. I mean, if I wrote a story and put that in it, then people would say, "Oh, you're having a laugh. What, you found her in that chat?" Do you know what I mean? It's like, and then the whole time I'm thinking,
And
it was only because you were gifted the blooming membership
well, I didn't realize
that
that
we
you
found
can
out.
see the
But
chatter in or not chatter, you can see the lurker on Twitch.
mhm,
So even if you're not chatting, you can still like you still can see who's watching.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
I don't know. Like I knew on TikTok, it now it it lets you know when you go in to a room or So it's like these social media, they're messy. They like to let people know.
but the thing is, also though, Edna, people take it so seriously and expect you to take it seriously, and
Mhm.
and I'm like, but I don't care. I like Edna. I like Edna a lot, and we have
Well,
fun.
and it was more important to me to thank the person gifting the sub than to
Mm,
like try to remain anonymous. So it's like I knew as soon as I said hi, I was like, oh, okay, somebody's gonna see me and blah blah blah, whatever. But I just wanted to show the because you know what, Twitch is annoying because they have a lot of ads where you can't even watch anything. Like, as soon as you go in, you gotta watch an ad before you go in. You got pause in the middle, give you an ad,
annoying.
different things. Whereas, yeah, so I don't know. It's like when it comes to certain things, it's like let's not. I don't know. We can still have some decorum or whatever. Like, I'd rather say thank you and be polite than to try to be snooty. Because I'm not here for
Yeah.
sneaky.
Right, this could be something that we talk about Timber. Are we believing that she's back? I mean, I'm not so sure, and I tell you why. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't think she's back, and one of the reasons is because it's so easy to um start an account. I mean, there's so many different Jans floating around. I love it. Um, so maybe it's just somebody pretending to be her. Are we certain it's her? I don't know.
I have
Anyway, I'm
no
gonna leave it
idea.
at that.
I
I'm
think
gonna
people
leave it
still
at
think
that.
that I'm talking to her or that I've talked to her. But I haven't spoken to her since, essentially when everything came out.
Yeah,
And she was just like, well, I'm done with Edna. That was it. I haven't spoken to her since.
yeah, yeah. Um, so
So I can't tell you
maybe.
anything.
Oh, okay. So Sasha says he checked her profile and it was her. Oh, but why would she come back with the same name? It's like
I mean, is
what?
she coming to be a different name? No,
I
that
don't
doesn't
know.
surprise me.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. Edna, stop keeping me here. And
Okay, bye.
thanks for coming on, darling.
Thank
And
you. And bye, chat.
yeah, and thanks, my little group, for coming in and keeping us company. And we'll see you on Friday. We'll have so much to talk about. Mad. So you take care of yourselves out there, guys, because it's a rotten old world. Keep yourselves warm, and we'll see you on Friday. Bye bye for now.